Hi, I'm Steve, the Introverted Traveler. I've made it my mission in life to explore the beaches, deserts, mountains, and even cityscapes around us, and to do so while avoiding contact with as many people as possible. And although I will never hang out with you for any reason, I do invite you to join me on my journey. Come and see the world through the eyes of an extreme introvert. On this adventure, we are on the coast of Oregon, hiking the Cook's Ridge and Gwin Creek Loop near the town of Yahas. Along the way, we will encounter beautiful flowers, poke at slimy mushrooms, and journey deep through the forest in yet another attempt to avoid the presence of humanity. All this and much more on this Introverted Travels. Greetings, and I'm back yet again on yet another adventure. And today, today it is Easter Sunday, 2025. And for the very first time in the history of any and all of my videos, I am going to attempt to perform an Easter miracle and make an introduction section to this video that's less than 20 minutes long. Now, I know, you're probably saying to yourself, Introverted Traveler, but ye are just a man. How is it possible for ye to make an introduction section that's less than 20 minutes long, given the fact that you're full of yourself and like to hear yourself talk so much? And verily I say unto you, my friends, that miracles have happened before, and it may just be possible with a little bit of willpower and some faith to tone down the ego and to stop rambling and to make an introduction section that is suffice, and gets to the point right away. So let's attempt it, and let's hope the heavens open up and the universe pours onto us the strength and the resolution not to babble and babble and babble and babble and to babble about babbling. So where am I? Well, today I'm out at the Cape Perpetual Scenic Area here on the lovely, beautiful, and somewhat foggy and at the same time somewhat sunny Oregon coast. But more specifically, I'm doing a hike called the Cook's Ridge and Gwin Creek Loop. Okay, that's where I am. So, according to the biblical abomination that is All Trails, this hike is supposed to be around 6 miles long. But again, All Trails is a biblical abomination. It is not from the heavens and the universe. It is from the pits of hell. And it's also coded by a bunch of idiots that are just in it for $1 and may or may not be from hell, but they work cheap, and that's why All Trails, that's why All Trails, say it with me, that's why All Trails sucks. But you don't tune in to Easter miracles just to hear that All Trails sucks, because if you've read the Bible at any point in your life, you already know that All Trails sucks. I'm pretty sure it's written in there somewhere, probably in a prophecy or maybe an angelic vision that one of the prophets had. They came down from heaven and went, All Trails sucks, and then flew back to heaven. But you don't tune in for that. You tune in to hear about the meat and the potatoes. And in this particular case, the meat and potatoes of this video, at the trailhead, there were, besides me, 3 cars. If you do the introverted math on that, that is 4 people per car times 3 cars. There's a potential of 12 people out here on this trail today. That is 12 potential hellos, that is 12 potential good mornings, and that is 12 potential instances of small talk. But regardless of the math, I have yet to see a single human being in this forest. Mind you, I'm only about like a quarter of a mile into the forest. But so far in that quarter of a mile, I have seen 0 fellow humans. So there may be another Easter miracle today, and we may be able to get through this hike without seeing people. Now, I wouldn't press my luck, and I don't have the strength in my faith to believe that this is going to be a peopleless hike. So we're going to attempt it, but don't get your hopes up on that one. But I think we've done it as far as the other Easter miracle. I told you where I am. I told you what I'm doing. I told you that, of course, all trail sucks. I made a couple of weird religious Bible jokes and maybe some prophecy jokes in there as well. And I told you the trailhead had 3 cars, and that's awful because there may be 12 people out here. And now I'm scared and shaking and wanting to run into the forest to cry. So on this Easter Sunday, let's gather our inner strength, hold back our tears, and venture forth into the world. I love it when there's filler signs and I don't have to actually create original content all by myself. A never-ending story. You are standing in the middle of a 100 to 200-year-old western hemlock climax forest. Climax. In the centuries-long race to dominate this area, the Douglas fir, western hemlock, Sitka spruce, and other vegetation of this coastal forest have been in a constant solar competition. So it's literally taken a century or two for a bunch of very, very slow-moving trees to beat the crap out of each other. Lack of Douglas fir, along with the abundance of Sitka spruce and western hemlock, is a solid clue that this forest has reached maturity. I've been looking for solid clues that I've reached maturity for years and years and years, but I haven't found any so far. But let's go back to the tree story. Another hint is the fact that the forest floor is covered in a carpet of sword ferns, and that there is no cramped understory of youthful trees and shrubs. So that basically means that the Douglas firs have been run off, that the Sitka spruce and the western hemlock, they formed a posse, a gang, if you would, against the Douglas fir, and they drove it out of town. I mean, really, if you think about this, this is just a very, 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 very slow-moving western. There was an invader to a small town, the Douglas fir, into this forest, and the townspeople gathered together and said, "Not in my town." And there was a very, very, very centuries-long old shootout, and the Douglas fir died, or got out of Dodge, or what. I don't know what the trees did, but they did something dramatic for trees, and now, well, now it's a never-ending story. Although novels are written with a beginning, middle, and end, the forest has a beginning, middle, and usually no end. So are they saying that the Douglas fir could come back for revenge? Forest sequel. What we call a conclusion or climax that a forest attains is only temporary. Throughout its life, the forest is constantly experiencing disturbances and transactions in its cycling and recycling progression. Even as this chapter of the forest story is evolving, a new forest sequel is being written. Yeah, but is it going to be as good as the original? I mean, the original had drama. It had a centuries-long battle with Douglas fir trees. It had bark. It had pine needles. It had ferns. I don't know. I don't know how the forest is going to top it. I mean, is there going to be a beetle invasion? That could happen. I could see a deadly beetle invasion. But more than likely, the thing that's going to invade and destroy the sequel, human beings. Well, then it becomes a horror story because, I mean, would you want to be stuck in a forest with a bunch of people? That's scary. So, yeah, there you go. There's some canned content that was basically created for me because all I really did was use somebody else's words on a sign and made a bunch of really bad jokes. But hey, you know what? There's a million YouTubers that do reaction videos exactly like this, so don't judge me. So I've been out here for about an hour and maybe 20 minutes or something like that. And I've been wandering around the woods. I've been aiming my camera at things. I've been making really bad jokes about stoner hippie trees. And I'm thinking to myself, it feels like we've gone a long ways. I must be like booking it through this hike. I must be going super fast, and I've covered a lot of territory. And then I decided to take my phone out of my pocket and look at all trails. It's been less than a mile and a half. In like an hour and a half, roughly, give or take. I mean, seriously. Am I getting slower? I mean, not just slower. I mean, yes, I'm old. I'm 45 years old. I'm about to turn 46 in a couple of months. So slowing down in my older progressing age would make total sense. As you get closer and closer to the sweet nothingness of the dark abyss, you tend to slow down. You take life a little bit easier. You enjoy what you can, and then you dive head in. This is beyond slow. I mean, it literally took me an hour and a half to go a mile. I knew I was a tortoise, but this is ridiculous. I'm pretty sure that if I go any slower, I'm going to start going back in time. Not forward in time, but literally time is just going to pass me by. Like literally all of time is just going to drag right by me. And I'm going to see the past like whizzing by my head. And at some point, if I go slow enough, as I seem to be, I'm going to end up in dinosaur times. I'm going so slow that I'm going to go back to prehistoric times. Now, ironically, I'd probably still be in the forest, but at least for your entertainment, I would be probably hunted by velociraptors and T-Rexes. So, I don't know. I mean, it sucks for me that I'm getting so slow that time is literally reversing, but for you, it might be fun to watch me get eaten in Jurassic Park style. Yeah, this is what a mile and a half looks like. Middle of the woods. It's not beautiful. It's not exciting. I mean, there's trees. There's only so many ways to make trees happening and hip and exciting and new. And I think I'm all out of ideas to do that. So I'll just tell you that I'm out here reversing time. I'm out here getting slower and slower and slower with every hike. And I'm out here getting older and older and older. I mean, you are literally watching a man age, decay, and die before your eye. I mean, if people are celebrating 200 years of the trees and talking about all the dramatic things the trees have done, I can talk about all the dramatic things that I'm doing. It's very slow and gradual. You're going to see it over a couple of decades. But yeah, you are literally watching me die on camera. Very, very, very slowly. But everything else about me seems to be very, very, very slow anyway. So it keeps with the theme, I guess. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is I'm slow and I'm dying. Oh, and I'm old. So I'm slow, old, and I'm dying. Yeah, it was really worth turning on the camera for that. All right, so check this out. I'm out, of course, in the middle of the woods, as usual, and I come across this. Look at these beautiful mushrooms on this log. Now, I have absolutely no idea what mushrooms those are. I don't know if they're edible. I don't know if they're hallucinogenic. I don't know if they're going to drop me in 5 seconds if the minute I put them in my mouth. Of course, I'm not going to dare do that because I just realized something. I've been hiking in the woods for 3 years now. I've been hiking all over 5 states, total 5 states over the last 3 years. And I also grew up in the country and in the woods there. I literally spent 20 years of my early development in the woods, walking around nature, experiencing nature. And what I've come to realize is I don't know anything. There are people who can come into the woods here in the Pacific Northwest, look at a mushroom and go, ooh, that's a blah, 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 and then put it in their mouth and go, that's delicious, and not die. That's not me, I swear. Even that friendly little mushroom. I mean, let's face it, that looks like one of the mushrooms you'd buy at the store. I can guarantee you, if I ate that thing, I'd be seeing like purple elephant falling from the trees. The entire landscape would be like neon glowing orange, and then I'd die. Because I don't know nothing. I mean, I don't know how I can exist in this world and literally not learn about the environment around me, like the trees and then the sky. And mind you, I have learned some things because there's informational signs on trails. Occasionally I learned something, but if I didn't have those informational signs, I'd just be like wandering through the forest going, oh, what's that? Huh? I'm embarrassed that I am almost 46 years old. I'm 45 years old at the moment. I'll be 46 years old in June. And I don't know anything. I mean, I also have 2 degrees, so there may be a correlation there of why I don't know anything because I'm highly educated, but I couldn't tell you what type of mushrooms those are. They're the slimy, squishy kind. That's all I've got. And so I'm going to continue my walk with my head hung in shame because I'm pretty sure I could probably eat half the forest and survive, but I don't know anything. So if the apocalypse did happen and I had to rely on myself to feed myself using my knowledge of nature, I'd be dead in like a day. I mean, there's no possible way. I'd eat some bark and then get like horrible, deadly constipation and explode or something. Horror of horrors. Something awful just happened out here in the woods. I saw people. And in this particular case, not only did I see people, I saw trail runners. But at least these 2 particular trail runners confirmed to me my hypothesis that what trail running really is just a constant plea for attention as trail runners go out completely and totally unprepared and try to get themselves in trouble so search and rescue will come and find them. It's literally like a toddler acting up so mommy and daddy will pay attention to them. In this particular case, there were 2 people, but they came so unprepared. They were literally shirtless. They were half naked running through the woods. Now, mind you, at some point in my life, I'm sure that I'm going to be completely naked and running through the woods, but that's going to be a mental health emergency and not a planned trail run. But yeah, they had bottles of water with them, and that was basically it. And mind you, I'm not in like deep wilderness, but still. But at least bring a wardrobe. It's like 50 degrees out here. Your nipples do not need to be rock hard as you run through the ferns and the trees and no supplies, no backpacks, not even those little stupid running backpacks that they usually have. No, these 2 idiots were just running half naked through the woods, talking up a storm, and they're probably going to get themselves eaten by something. The reality is, trail runners, they don't put a lot of forethought into their behavior. They're just like, hey, there's the forest, let's go running. I mean, they're literally like that one friend you had in grade school and high school that would basically do absolutely anything for $1. I mean, you'd be like, hey, John, I just found this weird thing on the ground. You want to eat it? I'll give you $1. Oh, sure. Hey, John, there's a spooky haunted house. We'll give you $1 if you go spend the night in. Okay. Hey, John, there's a forest over there. I'll give you $1 if you strip half naked and take absolutely no supplies or GPS devices and run through it. Oh, okay, I'll go do that. I'm trail running. I mean, that's basically what trail runners are. They're your dumb, idiotic, accidentally suicidal friend that will do anything for $1 because $1 means love and attention in some weird, twisted, mentally unhealthy way. I mean, every single time I see one of these idiots, though, I just think they're trail running. It's a cry for attention. Mommy and daddy didn't love them, and so they're trying to substitute search and rescue for proper parental warmth. Sad trail runners. Very, very sad. We have a sign. Now, it's not exactly spectacular, but we have something other than trees. So it says, that the Oregon Coast Trail is 3 miles. The visitor center is 4 miles. This is the Gwin Creek Trail. Hence, we're on now the Gwin Creek Trail part of the hike. But this is notable because all trails, for whatever reason, they've always had user waypoints on their map, meaning there's these little yellow dots that will pop up, and somebody will write something in like, oh, this is the trail to blah blah, or don't go this way, there's a bridge under, that type of thing. But for some reason, they're now populating it with these little black dots in addition to the user-generated yellow dots. And the little black dots just say things like tree, or in this particular case, signage. I mean, I don't know if we really need that. I mean, I've been using AllTrail maps for 3 years now, and although it has tried to kill me probably 4,000 or 5,000 times, I haven't needed to know that there was a sign. I mean, when you're walking on the trail, you'll eventually notice that there's a sign. The sign's like right there. I mean, look, that sign is conveniently located. It's right in the center of the trail. And yeah, it tells you information. It gives you arrows. It tells you where you're going. I mean, maybe the average IQ of the AllTrails user is pretty low and they need it pointed out on the map. Hey, there's a sign. Don't run into it. Don't run into it. Maybe it's for trail runners because let's face it, they need as much instruction as possible. When you're running the 3-minute miles and knocking hikers off the trail, remember to avoid the sign. It's right here. But of course, this being AllTrails, it actually told me that the sign was like back there somewhere. So it's still a little off. I guess the black dots of obviousness that they're now putting on their app, they're still in beta mode. They're still under construction. So they're not quite there. But hey, signage. Now we know. I mean, I would have never noticed this giant trail sign sitting in the middle of the trail without AllTrails telling me. We have talked about in the past my wonderful ability to plan for hikes. I mean, I'll go out on very scenic hikes in a rainstorm when it's foggy. I'll go to places where there are huge, great views of volcanoes in the distance, and yet I go on the smokiest day of the year, and so on and so forth. Today, I think, takes the cake because I'm here on the Oregon coast. I could be showing you beautiful water right now. I could be showing you the rugged edge of, literally the edge of the continent as it plunges down into the ocean where the continental and the oceanic plates merge. I could show you this glorious beauty. I could go to Seal Beach. I could go see some of the Oregon lighthouses. I could be doing all sorts of glorious ocean-related things. And I choose the one hike that's literally 90% trees. I mean, I saw some waves in the distance earlier, but ever since then, trees, 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 and more trees. I mean, I didn't even realize this planet had this many trees until I came to the Oregon coast. Of course, in my defense, I'm an idiot and I never plan anything. And I just saw this on AllTrails and I'm like, oh, well, this looks like a hike I could do. And it's close to where I'm staying here on the coast. So let's go do that hike. But little did I know, it was Tree-a-Palooza. So for those of you in the audience, the 2 or 3 of you that may be in my audience, if you have an arborist fetish, if you just have a thing for trees, I mean, eat your heart out. I mean, look at all these trees. You got tall trees, you got short trees, you got trees with needles, you got trees with whatever the hell that is. You got broken trees, you've got old trees, you've got new trees, you've got trees. You want trees? We've got trees. Trees, trees, trees. I feel like I'm a used tree salesman. As far as oceanic views, no. You won't see that when I come to the coast. No, why would I show you the ocean when I'm by the ocean? You want to see broken tree stump. That is what inquiring minds really want to know. How many broken tree stumps are there? Are there critters living in the broken trees? And unfortunately, as I say this, I know that there are some biologists in my audience, and they're probably sitting there going, yeah, show us the critters. Show us the critters in the tree stump. We want to see what's in the tree stump. It's a micro-ecosystem. We want to see, and which is totally great. I'm encouraging that. Science is wonderful. For the general audience that is sitting there drooling, I don't think tree stump talk is really, it's not going to get me to 1 million views. Ocean and cliff and waves and seals and all that cool stuff, maybe that could get me there. But no, instead, I see trees. Over here, there's some trees. In this direction, there's trees. But shocker, when I turn this way, more trees. There's a reason why I don't go viral that often. There's a reason why I only have 800 people on my YouTube subscriber list. Well, aside from the fact that I'm long-winded, boring, and really weird, and nobody wants to hear me bitch and complain. I just don't know where the trends are. I don't know where all the cool hot spots are. You know what I do know? I know where the trees are. They're right there. Once again, All Trails is being extremely helpful with their little new black dot that they put on the map, because they've labeled this as stream. Just stream. There's no facts about it or anything beyond stream. And I can tell you, as somebody who has hiked 100-something hikes over a 3-year period, I don't know, maybe 150 hikes, you can do the math, I don't know, a whole bunch of hiking. I would have never known that was a stream if All Trails hadn't marked it on a map that was a stream. So thank you, All Trails. I mean, you could be giving me useful information like maps that are updated or trails that don't lead me into the deep, dark woods and just leave me there. You could be doing that. You could be taking me to paths that aren't dilapidated and falling apart and actually exist and are actually safe to traverse. You could be doing that, but no. You are performing the public service of telling me that is a stream. I mean, it's a pretty stream. I appreciate the fact that it is a stream, but pretty sure I'd be able to tell that that's a stream without having the label on the map. I mean, I'm not going to say, hey, look, that's a clown, or hey, look, that's a walrus. No. I'm not going to mistake that for one of the Mount Hood walruses. No, that right there, that's a stream. I guess they're doing some updates, they're doing some upgrades, they're making their product better by pointing out the obvious. They're not making their product better by using better maps or by creating safer hikes. Oh, no. They'll never do that. Never. Don't you make them. But pointing out blatant, obvious things? Oh yeah, they can totally do that. So, congratulations, All Trails. You have become redundantly obvious in your inability to do anything other than become redundantly obvious. And I don't know if that sentence made any sense, but hey, look! Stream! Well, big news out here in the woods. I think the bus from the asshole farm finally arrived, because I'm seeing a lot of assholes all of a sudden. And by assholes, I mean my fellow hikers. I mean, they're everywhere all of a sudden. Just all. I've been in the woods for like 3 hours, 4 hours, something like that. I don't know, just wandering around, talking aimlessly into a camera like a mental patient. And I've hardly seen anybody during that time, but just all of a sudden, like, I'm seeing hikers coming up the trail, I'm seeing hikers going down the trail, and unfortunately, I'm hearing hikers talking. There's nothing better than having a nice, quiet jaunt through the woods, and all of a sudden you hear just behind you, and you're going fast enough that they're kind of in equilibrium with you, and they're hanging behind you for like 5, 10, 20 minutes, and you just hear them go wah, 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 wah. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to hear when I'm in the woods. I want to hear you talk about yourselves. Unfortunately, what was a peaceful, quiet, incredibly boring tree-filled hike has now become an incredibly boring tree-filled hike with assholes in it. It's like the secret sauce, I guess. It's just you sprinkle on some assholes and things get interesting. Not really, because assholes are as boring as the trees are. But yeah, that's what's happening out here in the woods right now. I'm being annoyed by other people. It's just that's every freaking video ever. But I felt compelled to let my misery become your misery for just a few seconds. I mean, if I have to suffer, why shouldn't you have to suffer? I mean, yeah, you watch me a lot, so you probably are already suffering, but I'm out here with a bunch of assholes, so you're gonna hear about it. This is really part 3 in what is apparently a video series talking about the changes that AllTrails has made to its maps. Now it's adding little black dots where there's points of interest or trail markers or something. I don't know. The last little black dot that I just passed, and I actually didn't stop the film because I wasn't paying attention, didn't realize I just passed it. But when you click on it, it shows a picture of a fern, and under it, it says fern. So apparently the little black dot that AllTrails has added to the map just wants to tell you that wherever that spot was on the trail, there was a fern. But guess what? There's a fern. There's a fern. There's a fern. Really, the entire trail has had ferns. So I'm not exactly sure what these little black dots are that AllTrails has added. I don't know if they're being added by users, because the users had the big yellow dots. There's big yellow dots that have been on the map the entire time that I've used the app. And users can add those. But now these little black dots, they're getting a little bit more specific and a little bit more obvious.
I mean, yes, there's ferns. There's lots and lots and lots of ferns.
So once again, AllTrails, thank you, Captain Obvious. Well, we are getting closer and closer to where I parked, at the trailhead, which is actually the visitor center here in this scenic area. I can't remember the name of the damn thing. Point something Perpetua or something like that. I don't know. Something I couldn't pronounce to begin with. But yeah.
So I got about a mile left here.
But I'm noticing, I'm hearing once again the roar of the ocean. And when I look on the AllTrails map, there may be a point in which you'll see the ocean. I mean, I came all the way down here just to show you the possibility of oceans, and there's actually the possibility of ocean coming up. So, but then again, AllTrails may make me a dirty liar, because AllTrails has been way too busy pointing out ferns and rocks and streams and stuff to really make an accurate map. So I don't know, but I am hearing, well, I'm hearing a creek.
There's a rickety bridge over there over a creek. There's a rickety sign right here that tells me the visitor center is 1 mile.
And yeah, and the noises in the bushes or beyond the bushes tell me that the ocean waves are close. So the Pacific Ocean might make a guest appearance. We'll see. But yeah, I'm on my way back to the visitor center, and thus back to the trailhead in my car and all that cool stuff. So the trail rating is imminent, but before I do that, let's see if we can see water and waves and seals and all that cool ocean-related activity. And if we're really lucky, maybe the universe will throw in a kraken. Maybe we'll finally get to see our first kraken coming out of the water and just demolishing the Oregon coast. I mean, this is an AllTrails hike, so anything is possible. Okay, as promised, although you can barely see it through the trees, that big blue thing out there, that's one of the Earth's oceans. More specifically, that's the Pacific, not the Specific, but the Pacific Ocean. And
I'm filming now because I have a feeling that this is probably as good of a view as we're gonna get it. There it is, in all its splendor, and its glory beyond the trees.
And All Trails really does know how to get great scenic hikes. You know, it knows where to take me to see things through the trees. Occasionally I see things through bushes. I see things from really far away, half obscured by a mountain. All Trails is wonderful at that. So if you want scenic, beautiful hikes, trust All Trails. Yeah, I wouldn't trust it with a Cheeto, let alone, you know, my hikes. But
yeah, there's the beach down there. There's some water, there's some rocks, and of course Highway 101.
That's really what we came to see. We want to see cars whizzing by, destroying the planet and hitting bugs at the same time. So yeah, I'm out here in the bushes and the scrub.
And the ocean lies beyond. And of course, beyond that is Japan and Asia and Europe and
places that might actually be more tolerable than where I am right now. But I'm stuck out here with you guys on an All Trails hike in the middle of an Oregon forest. Joy to the world. All right, so with the ocean roaring somewhere in that direction, All Trails tells me, you know, the same app that I want to literally go to the beach and just chuck into that ocean. Well, that app is telling me that I have actually about 0.81 something miles until I'm back at the trailhead, and thus 8 point something miles until I'm back at my car, until I'm back to my ability to get into my car, go back up the coast, and get the hell out of here. Given that, it is time for our trail rating. And if you don't remember, or if you're new, we rate our trails on a scale of 1 to 10. It's an introversion scale, with 1 representing the worst possible scenario for an introvert. And that's, well, that's not filming into the sun. Actually, that's Disneyland on the 4th of July. And yes, Disneyland is by the ocean, but it's not actually on the ocean. But even so, it has all sorts of cosmic octopus-like creatures that on the 4th of July come out of all sorts of dimensions, demolish Big Thunder Mountain, demolish the Matterhorn, rip Goofy's head plain off. I mean, there's a tentacle just comes by and goes, and these tentacles come out and they chase after the tourists. They chase after the employees, the cast members. They chase after the costumed characters, and they stand in line. These tentacles do behind all the other people. It's like a 1.5 mile line to pay $20,000 to get a red churro. So, of course, all of that results in screaming, parents screaming, children screaming, mascots screaming, noises, explosions. Oh, in other words, introverted hell. And that's a 1 on our scale. Now, a 10 on our scale is it's a little bit nicer. It's you isolated in the middle of a field in Antarctica, all by yourself, with only government-created, genetically mutated, sentient penguins who have a taste for human flesh, but not you, because they recognize you as a leader to keep you company. And these penguins are all over the place. There's a huge horde of them for hundreds and hundreds of miles. And if they see any other humans besides you, of course, because they see you as their leader, oh, they're gonna go waddle, waddle, chomp, chomp. And that's wonderful, because you get to maintain your solitude, your peace, and your happiness in what I call introvert heaven, or introvert nirvana. You make your choice. Either way, there's mutant, killer, intelligent penguins there, so you know. On that incredibly stupid, made up, and getting kind of ridiculous scale, today's hike, I'm gonna put about a 6. For a big bulk of the hike, I was alone in the forest. I had no people around me, I had no noise around me, I had no cars, I had nothing. It was just me, the trees, and whatever demented stew was brewing between my ears. But alas, perfection doesn't last forever. And unfortunately, I saw 2 trail runners, and then suddenly I just saw a flood of people. But since the trail was flooded with people, since that time, everything's been quieter. It's been actually nice out here. I mean, now I'm next to the 101 in the ocean, so things are loud again, but I'm still alone in the trail. And so for that reason, I'm gonna give the trail a 6. Now, that takes us to our misery index, which is on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being complete fiction because it would be no misery and just you look at me for 5 seconds, you can tell I am always miserable. For my ongoing viewers, the 2 or 3 of you that might watch my videos on a regular basis, you know I am literally the most miserable man in the world. Possibly even in the universe. I mean, I don't know if Gleep Glorp of planet Omegatron is also miserable like I am, but I have a feeling I'm going to give him a run for his money, or whatever aliens use. But that contrasts with a 5 on the scale, which is the worst possible misery ever. And of course, I break through that scale, I explode that 5, and I often am somewhere around 10 gazillion levels of misery. But today's been about a 2.5 to a 3. There have not been that many people out, and so the moments in which there were people, well, that was just hell on earth. But most of the time, I've just been kind of chilling, and I've been at my default. So that is to say that the trail rating today is about a 6. The misery index is about a 2.5 overall. The ocean's roaring in the background. The cars are speeding along Highway 101, and I'm almost back to my car. So let's go back to the visitor center. Let's get into my car, and let's get out of here. According to the thing that crawled from the sea, aka All Trails, I have about a quarter of a mile left until I'm back at the trailhead, and thus about a quarter of a mile left before I can get into my car and do all that joyous stuff that I always talk about that I want to do after a hike, but I really just end up going home and taking a nap for like the entire week. I just sleep all week, and then I don't have to have any contact with people, and then I'm out here again the next week complaining about having contact with people. But alas, forget that stupidity, because it is time for us to say our goodbyes. But before that, let's do a quick recap. Today, we were out on the Oregon coast doing the Cook Bridge and Gwynn Creek Loop Trail and completely missing the ocean. But along the way, we saw a lot of flowers. Unfortunately, we saw a few people, but not that many. But we got to see some random stuff that All Trails was pointing out, like creek and fern and other stuff you'd find in a picture book for a 5-year-old. But alas, it is now time for us to say our goodbyes. And it is time for me to say, and you know what's coming, stay introverted, everyone. And of course, I'll see you in the next adventure.